Welcome everyone, today we'll have a special build for Diablo 4 Season 1. If you look behind me, you can see a Druid party up with other 3 players. And in this video, what I want to share you guys is, this is a co-op multiplayer build. This can also work as a solo player. Notice that I'm currently level 68, we're fighting a level 79 dungeon. But very soon, I'll show you guys in this replay, we started doing this one at level 60. So this build is incredibly good if we combine with multiple players. What we're doing is we're using mini pool to pull enemies together and deal tremendous damage to them once they're grouped together. Notice that in the party we have a necromancer, we have multiple players using a special heart that allows us to pull enemies together once we cast our ultimate. And of course guys, at the end of this video, I'll share with you guys this entire replay. So doing this entire dungeon took us less than 7 minutes, and we're getting tons of experience. So every 5 to 10 minutes we're getting half level of experience, and this is one of the best ways of leveling using co-op play. Now just to show you guys a little bit over here, you can see that we were running this particular dungeon at level 62. Back then there was a tier 22 Oldest Cave. We have upgraded to tier 25 Oldest Cave. I'll briefly talk about resetting the Oldest Cave before, and we have talked about before, I'll briefly talk about as well in this video. And the focus of this build is not only for my Druid and also for my team synergy with the entire players. I'm currently playing with 1 Necromancer and also 2 Barbarians to do the most damage. Now if we come over to my character over here, notice that my party is still running the cave, and what I wanted to do is, while they're leveling, I really want to make the build for you guys, so I told them it's okay if I make the build for you guys, so you guys know how to farm quickly with higher level dungeons using team synergies. So coming over to my items, one of the biggest highlight is actually hidden within the gems over here. This is a Devious Heart. This allows my ultimate to pull enemies towards me. What you're going to see in the video is, in the replay, you're going to see that we're rotating the pulling. The Necromancer will be pulling enemies with Corpse Tendril, and the rest of the warriors, and the rest of the Barbarians and also my Druid will be pulling enemies using this particular heart. This allows us to constantly group enemies together, to kill them, to get a bunch of experience, and to clear the map super fast and make it super easy. Now, similar to all of our build videos, I'll be working with Mobalytics and also provide you guys with a cheat sheet of the summary of the spells and also the abilities and also the choice of legendaries. So make sure you guys check the links below, and we'll be updating this build for you guys very soon. Now briefly going through my items. Oh, I just leveled up. So cool, right? So I'll share with you guys how to reset this whole thing as well. So over here, you can see that my one-handed weapon, I just happened to have found this one. You might have seen the previous video. Now, I was using this one for earth spells, and currently this doesn't really fit my build, but these have a high damage. As for the totem, I haven't crafted anything because this totem doesn't have the best stats. Now, coming over to the rings, what we're doing is we're looking on the focus of my Tainted, the Malignant Heart. So what you're going to see is, I'll quickly come over here so we don't get distracted. So what you're going to see is we have the Grassland Rage. I only have the Grassland Rage to 2 seconds right now. I want it to be maximum 5 seconds. And the heart allows me to pull enemies towards me. On the second ring, I'm getting the critical chance with Strike, with Shred, which allows me to deal lightning damage around me and also provide myself with an invulnerable once I get struck under 20%. Because in the party I don't want to die too much, this allows me to survive. And over here, what you can see is we also have the particular amulet, which allows me to have damage reduction while in the werewolf form. And together, you can see that my Brutal Heart provides me with more income damage suppression while when I cast my defensive spells, which happens very often with Blood Hole, which reduces cooldown, and also with Hurricane that lasts for a long time. Now for my brutes, I'll be going with damage reduction while injured, and here we go with a Hurricane provide us with 2 skill ranks to shapeshift. For my pens, we'll be going with basic attack provide us with damage reduction. I don't have the best item over here. You can see this is like level 600, this is a level 400. So this can be even stronger with better items. Now for my gloves, I'm getting Grassland Rage to provide me with additional movement speed and also provide me with spirit cost. This is a pretty low one as well. And as for the chest, you don't have to go with a Mad Wolf Glee, but I happen to have found this one to a really high level with 811. So I'm using this one currently for higher movement speed and also for a bit of damage reduction. And finally, as for the helmet, I'm currently using this Team Synergy helmet, which allows me to provide cycle armor to my entire party, and this also reduces physical damage, which is actually really good for the party play of the Druid for the whole party. Now over here, I'll briefly show you guys how we reset the dungeon, and this allows us to permanently keep a really good dungeon. Now over here, you saw that I have gotten the party transferred to me, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer the leader back, and this allows us to permanently reset this particular dungeon. And now keep in mind guys, to have this dungeon fully reset like this one, you can clear the dungeon, but you have to switch the leader between 2 players before you clear the dungeon. If you do this after you clear the dungeon, it will disappear. So the best way of doing this one is once the dungeon starts, make sure you swap the leader between you and another player, and this allows you to permanently keep this dungeon after you clear this one. Now briefly going through the spirit booms, you can see that I'm picking the damage reduction from elites, and here we have increased attack speed and also critical chance. Over here we have increased ultimate duration, and finally we have shifting allows us to heal with a 70% chance, 75% chance with a critical strike. Now coming over to my skill tree. Now it's pretty straightforward. This is similar to the Shred Lightning Wolf. So here we go, Storm Wolf, right? So here we go with a vulnerability provided with Storm Strike. We go with the highest level in Shred, and this allows us to have Shred providing us with more critical damage. Here I'm going with all the perks over here to get more spirit and also to deal more damage with my core spells. I'm also getting additional critical chance against close enemies, but I'm not getting the increased movement speed because I don't need to rush. We play together as a party and we don't need the 9% movement speed. Now over here, 3 points will go into Vigilance, which provide us with more defensive mechanics. I am going with 2 points into Cyclone Armor because we have some spare points. And with the Cyclone Armor, I decided to provide myself with more damage reduction every 10 seconds. We could go with Vulnerability, but the entire party will be providing us with Vulnerability. As for the Blood Hell, I happen to have some item that got us to level 5, but 1 point is enough for the Blood Hell. And this provides us with more additional attack speed, and this also provides us with cooldown reduction. Don't underestimate the cooldown reduction, because whenever you cast a defensive spells, you will have more defensive cooldown reduction. Now we're not putting any points into the companion section, but over here we're going with 1 point into Hurricane, and Hurricane provides us with vulnerability. 3 points will go into the Endless Tempest, which provides us with longer duration. Over here we're going with 3 points into Envenom, and also 3 points into Toxic Claw. And finally, we go with the Ghastly Rage upgrades, and here we go with 3 points into Defensive Posture, 3 points into Natural Resolve, and also 3 points into Unrestrained. This provides us with the most Fortify. Because we do have a lacking of Fortify, and we're actually getting crowd controlled a little bit more because of the nerf to the Ghastly Rage. And in the party play, you can see I actually die a few times because I get hard controlled and then I die. So instead of getting more movement speed, which most players do, I decide to go with less duration of the crowd control. And finally, we're going with Lupin's Ferocity, which provides us with a little more damage. Now my Paragon is pretty straightforward. I go with the first section, taking the damage side, and then I go with a Vulnerability Glyph. I try to get this one to 25 Dexterity before level 15, so we do more damage. And we're taking the damage path. Now for the second part, we're going with the Last for Carnage, which provide my werewolf with 2 spirits. And here we're getting the second glyph with a werewolf to do more damage while in the werewolf form. And finally, if you guys do have the spare points, I'm going with the dealing additional damage after spending 75 spirit. And I do think this was enough. When I started leveling this build, I was around here. And as we level to close to level 70 now, we got over here. I also have some spare points that I'll be perking onto the next glyph. Now briefly going through the skill rotations for this particular build. You can see that I'm currently playing a party synergy. This build also works as a single player, so it's pretty much the similar combo. What you want to do is, you want to spam your Blood Hall because this reduces your damage. This reduces your damage taken, and this also heals you. While doing so, you want to be casting your Hurricane as much as you can to provide yourself with high skill ranks. And finally, if your team needs to pull enemies together, you should be casting Ultimate as a strategic move. And this allows you to pull enemies together for a lot of moments, and this deals a lot more damage. You can see that during this particular fight, I currently do not have a Tempest Roar. And the funny part is, at the end of this video, I actually got Tempest Roar. So this is actually pretty cool, right? So this was actually the recording video run that I got Tempest Roar. It is not the highest roll, but it's not bad. And other than that, most of the case, what I'm doing is I'm actually not the highest DPS on my team. Just keep in mind, guys, because my barbarian friends with Hammer of Ancient, they were actually doing a lot more damage. So with 2 barbarians on the team, 1 necromancer and also 1 druid, we're providing a lot of different synergies, we're pulling enemies together, we're clearing out much higher difficulty dungeon because of this. So it's quite interesting to be building a build that is more team oriented, because I'm giving my team, cyclone armor while the barbarians are doing shots, while the necromancer are pulling enemies together for us to do more damage. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, non-meta builds, leveling up, and also Paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates, and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4. So what I do now is I provide you guys with a small replay of our successful run around level 68. Now keep in mind, we were doing the same dungeon, same method, same combination around level 60 with a tier 22 dungeon. So this is really fun, and I have the items which I used for this particular run available for you guys to have a look.
Wait a minute.
Now before you go, and if you guys didn't know, we have a new YouTube channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and check out the behind the scenes and also fun clips and also more stories about us. And then you get to know me a little more personally instead of just reading the news and also the games, right? So I want to share a little bit more with you guys. So make sure you check this channel out if you're interested about Matt and also Uni. She's really funny too, and she's really shy. So I want to give her a surprise and do a shout out for the new channel to get some subscribers. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.